The air smelled like burnt cinnamon and wet moss, which in Elias Vance's experience was never a good sign. He crouched near the riverbank, tapping his scanner with the impatience of a man who had suffered one too many false readings today. The damn thing insisted there was something big in the water. Possibly hostile, possibly edible, possibly both. It was hard to tell with alien wildlife. "Come on, don't make me wade in there," Elias muttered, squinting at the swirling violet current. Then came the sound, low, guttural, and unmistakably panicked. A cross between a lion's roar and someone gargling marbles. Elias' head snapped up, his eyes locked onto the source. A massive, silver-furred feline thrashed in the river, its sleek form barely visible beneath the churning water. Its bioluminescent spots flickered erratically, pulsing in distress. This was not a creature built for swimming. It clawed at the riverbank, but the current had other plans, dragging it downstream toward some very unfriendly-looking rocks. Elias sighed. Why is it always the big ones? His brain, ever the unhelpful pessimist, supplied several reasons not to dive in after it. 1. He had no idea if the thing was friendly. 2. He had even less of an idea what else might be lurking in the water, probably considering him lunch. 3. His spacesuit wasn't waterproof, which meant he was about to spend the next hour squelching around like a toddler in rain boots. On the other hand, the thing was going to die. Damn it. Before logic could stage an intervention, Elias had already bolted forward. He tossed his rifle aside, took 2 big, life-questioning steps, and hurled himself into the river. The cold hit first, a full-body slap that stole the air from his lungs. Then the current took over, immediately deciding it didn't like him and would rather he go elsewhere, preferably under the water. He fought to the surface, kicking hard, gasping. The feline wasn't far. It had stopped thrashing, its head barely above water. Too tired to fight anymore. "Oh no, you don't," Elias growled, paddling toward it. "You're not dying on my watch." As soon as he reached the creature, 2 things happened. 1. He got a real good look at its claws, sharp, curved, and very capable of turning him into space confetti. 2. The feline apparently mistook him for a flotation device and latched onto him like a drowning man to a life raft. This presented a problem, a very fast-sinking problem. "Okay, nope, bad idea," Elias choked out as they both went under. Darkness swallowed them. Something large brushed past his leg. His lungs burned. The feline twisted, desperate. His fingers found its scruff a last-ditch effort, and pulled. For a second, nothing happened. Then, miraculously, they surfaced, coughing, sputtering, and wondering how many bad choices had led him to this exact moment. Elias fought his way toward shore, dragging the unhelpful but very fluffy feline with him. It didn't resist, either too weak or just accepting of its terrible life choices. With one final, exhausted shove, they reached the riverbank. Elias collapsed on a solid ground, soaked, exhausted, and 100% done. The feline coughed beside him. A moment later, it shifted, blinking at him with large, violet eyes. Then, with absolutely zero warning, it pressed its forehead against his hand. Elias stared. You're welcome?" The feline let out a deep, rumbling purr, which was either a thank you or a prelude to eating him. It was hard to tell. Elias sat up, groaning as his suit made a series of unfortunate squelching sounds. "Great. Fantastic. I smell like wet dog and regret." The feline sniffed him, then sneezed. "Yeah, I know, buddy. I judge me too." For a few moments, neither of them moved, both too drained to do anything but exist in their shared bad decisions. Then, slowly, the feline turned its head toward the jungle, ears twitching. Elias followed its gaze. Something was moving in the undergrowth. His heart, which had briefly taken a break from panic, decided to start right back up again. His hand found his pistol. The feline growled, low and warning. Not at him, at whatever was watching them. Elias squinted into the trees. Shadows shifted. Something gleamed. A faint, unnatural hum filled the air. Oh, that wasn't just jungle noise. Something else was out there, and it had been waiting. Elias had precisely 3 seconds to process the fact that something in the jungle was watching them before the situation got significantly worse. The undergrowth exploded. A blur of serpentine bodies, too many legs, and a very concerning number of teeth surged forward. The creatures, because sure, why settle for just one nightmare, had glistening, obsidian-black carapaces, their segmented limbs moving in an unsettlingly coordinated fashion. Oh! And they hissed. Elias had never trusted anything that hissed. His new, very large feline friend clearly felt the same way. With a snarl, it sprang up beside him, every muscle tensed, its fur bristling. The bioluminescent spots along its body flickered in an erratic pulse, like an emergency beacon. Elias did what any reasonable person would do when faced with an unidentified alien menace. He shot at it. The plasma bolt seared through the air, hitting the lead creature square in what should have been its face. It shrieked, a high-pitched, uncomfortably wet sound, but didn't drop. Instead, it twitched, reoriented, and kept coming. "Oh, that's just unfair," Elias muttered, already moving. The jungle erupted in chaos. The feline lunged, claws flashing, and tore into the closest creature with a very impressive amount of violence. Elias, deciding to trust the space leopard to handle its own business, focused on keeping the other incoming horrors at bay. He fired again, aiming for the joints, the eyes, anywhere that looked even vaguely important. It turned out the joints were important. One of the creatures collapsed mid-charge, its limbs locking in a way that suggested it had absolutely no idea how to function without all of its parts working. "Good to know," Elias muttered. Unfortunately, the others seemed to take this as a personal insult and doubled their efforts. He was running out of room. Then the feline roared. It wasn't just a sound. It was a command. The jungle answered. From the shadows, more figures emerged. Asterisk, asterisk, sleek, silver-furred, glowing spotted, asterisk, asterisk, and very, very fast. Another pack of alien leopards. They descended upon the creatures with terrifying efficiency, ripping, slashing, and making deep, guttural sounds that suggested teamwork and strategy. Elias had the distinct realization that he was watching an organized military effort unfold. He also realized he was very much not the main character in this fight. One by one, the creatures fell. Their last remaining member let out a warbling, rattling sound, possibly an attempt at reconsidering its life choices, before bolting back into the jungle. A heavy silence followed. Elias exhaled, lowering his pistol. Well, that was unnecessarily stressful. The feline he had saved turned to face him, eyes glinting in the dim light. For a long moment, it simply stared. Then, without breaking eye contact, it nudged his shoulder and began walking away. Elias blinked. "Oh, we're doing this now? Okay, cool. I love cryptic alien invitations. Definitely not ominous. Still, what else was he supposed to do? Not follow the giant, bioluminescent predator deeper into the jungle? That would require common sense, which, judging by today's choices, he did not possess. The other leopards watched him, their violet eyes unreadable. Then, as if satisfied, they turned and followed their leader, vanishing into the shadows like ghosts in silver fur. Elias sighed and trudged after them. The jungle thickened as they moved, the air humming with an almost imperceptible vibration. His skin tingled. His suit scanner flickered with strange, unreadable energy signatures. Then they reached it. At first glance, the cavern looked unremarkable, a natural rock formation, half hidden beneath a dense canopy. But the second he stepped through the entrance, his gut twisted. The walls hummed, a rhythmic pulse, perfectly synchronized with his own heartbeat. Then he saw it. Floating at the center of the cavern was a structure. Asterisk, asterisk, an egg-shaped artifact, asterisk, asterisk, translucent and glowing, its core swirling with colors his brain couldn't fully comprehend. It wasn't just an egg. It was something more. Elias didn't realize he had stopped breathing until his chest ached. The feline stepped beside him, gaze locked onto the artifact, guarding it, and suddenly it all clicked. The river, the desperate struggle, the frantic attempt to escape. The feline hadn't been fighting for its life. It had been fighting for this. Elias swallowed. Okay, so, what am I looking at? His suit's scanner beeped. The readings came back as absolute nonsense. Then, without warning, the artifact pulsed, and Elias felt it. Not just in his body, in his mind. Images, memories, thoughts that weren't his own. A civilization long gone, a species that had once ruled the stars. A weapon, no, a being designed for something far beyond human comprehension. And it was alive. Elias staggered back, his heart pounding. His breath came fast, ragged. This wasn't just an alien artifact. This was a galactic-scale disaster waiting to happen. He turned to the feline, his voice barely above a whisper. You weren't just protecting your kind, were you? The feline blinked once. Slowly, Elias felt cold, because now he understood, and he had no idea what the hell to do next. Elias had experienced a lot of bad days in his life. He'd been stranded on an asteroid with nothing but a half-eaten protein bar and a wrench. He'd accidentally insulted a very sensitive, very large alien diplomat by mispronouncing the word for honored one as wet sponge. Once, he'd even fired his thrusters in the wrong direction and drifted through space for 6 straight hours before someone bothered to pick him up. This was worse, because now he was staring at something that should not exist. A pulsating, ancient relic humming with power far beyond anything humans had ever encountered, hidden in a jungle on an uncharted planet guarded by a species of bioluminescent space leopards. His entire job, his entire paycheck, was based on reporting alien technology like this. Artifacts meant power. Power meant leverage. And leverage? Well, it had built and destroyed empires. Which meant Elias had a choice. He could report this. He could call it in, let the corporate bigwigs swoop in and do what corporate bigwigs do best. Claim things, control things, turn living histories into weapons or fuel or marketable souvenirs. Or he could pretend he'd never seen it. The feline, his feline, apparently, since they were now bonded by near-death experiences and mutual bad decisions, watched him carefully, its violet eyes unreadable. You know, buddy, Elias muttered, rubbing the back of his neck. This is where a rational person would take a few scans and let the people with much larger guns deal with this. The feline did not blink. Elias sighed. He had exactly 2 working brain cells, and both of them were screaming at him to shut up and walk away. But the third, much dumber, brain cell, the one responsible for every bad choice he had ever made, that one was winning. Because he knew, knew, that if he reported this, it wouldn't end with just a study. Someone would come, and they wouldn't just take the artifact. They'd take the leopards too, probably cage them, dissect them, do everything humanity was terrifyingly good at when faced with something it didn't understand. Elias stared at the artifact. The energy pulsing through it had settled into a calm, rhythmic beat, like it was alive, breathing, waiting. He closed his eyes. Then, with a long, suffering groan, he disabled his scanner and tossed it into the dirt. The feline's ears twitched. Yeah, Elias grumbled. I know. I'm an idiot. The feline let out a soft, rumbling sound, which Elias chose to interpret as deep appreciation and not smug agreement. Rolling his eyes, he took out his communicator. With a very practiced, very fake sigh, he clicked the distress button and spoke into it with the tone of a man who had wasted an entire week for absolutely nothing. This is Captain Elias Vance reporting in. Mission results. Negative, no significant artifacts found. Planet is unremarkable, lots of trees, bad weather, nearly got eaten. Nothing worth salvaging. Requesting pickup. There was a long pause. Then static. Confirming, Captain Vance, came the bored voice of the dispatch officer. No artifacts of value? None. Elias lied smoothly. Total bust. Another pause. Then, copy that. Extraction team inbound. Try not to get eaten before they get there. Elias grinned. No promises. The moment the call ended, something changed. The artifact pulsed one last time, and then asterisk, as if sensing the decision had been made, asterisk. The energy surrounding it flickered and dimmed. The cavern seemed to breathe out, the pressure lifting. The feline nuzzled the artifact, a careful, almost reverent touch. Elias watched. So, does this mean we're friends now? Or am I still on probation? The feline flicked its tail and gave him a look that very clearly said, "You are tolerated at best." "I'll take it," Elias muttered, with one last glance at the artifact. Asterisk, asterisk, a secret now buried, protected, and left untouched, asterisk, asterisk. He turned toward the jungle. The feline padded beside him, silent and watchful. As he walked back toward the extraction point, Elias had the strangest feeling, like he hadn't just saved a species. Like maybe, just maybe, he made the right kind of mistake.